Today, we're diving into the story of a tiny traveler with a huge impact. We're going to unlock the genetic secrets of an insect that honestly seems to be outsmarting us at every turn. Say hello to Zaprionis indianus. Yeah, the name's a bit of a mouthful, but trust me, its impact is super easy to see. This little fly is actually one of Brazil's most successful and destructive invaders, and it's got its sights set right on our food supply. All right, so let's get to know this tiny terror a little better. What makes this particular invader just so resilient? Its story starts all the way over in Africa. But then in 1999, the African fig fly showed up in Brazil for the first time. And in just a little over 20 years, it's pretty much marched across the entire country, becoming this relentless headache for farmers. And don't let the name fool you. Its appetite goes way beyond just figs. We're talking a major threat to tomatoes, guavas, mangoes, even cherries. It's causing some really devastating economic losses and putting all these crucial crops at risk. So this is the big question, right? We've got all these modern pesticides and control methods, but this tiny fly just keeps on thriving. So what's its secret weapon? Well, it turns out the answer is written right there in its DNA. Okay, so to really crack the code of its success, we have to look at its defenses. Think of it like this. This fly has evolved an incredible built-in chemical shield. For a long time, the main weapon farmers have used against this pest is chemical control, specifically an insecticide called malathion. And yeah, it's a powerful tool, but the flies are fighting back, and they're fighting back hard. And this is where we find the fly's secret weapon, something called esterases. The best way to think about these are like a tiny biological cleaning crew inside the fly's body. As soon as any poison gets in, they just spring into action, breaking it all down and neutralizing it before it can do any real damage. This whole process leads to something scientists call directional selection. It's basically evolution on fast forward. So when farmers spray their fields, the flies with the weaker cleaning crew, well, they die. But the ones with the stronger, more efficient enzymes, they survive. And this is the key part. They pass those super genes on to the next generation. So here's the wild part. Over time, the very thing we're using to kill them, the insecticide, is actually creating a population of super resistant flies. Yeah, their overall genetic diversity might go down, but the ones that are left are tougher than ever. It's a full-blown genetic arms race. But wait, it gets even more interesting. The story of this genetic shield has another layer, a really fascinating one, because the research uncovered a huge twist. Not all flies are created equal in this battle for survival. Just look at this data. It's incredibly clear. After being exposed to malathion, the male flies had a survival rate of over 82%. The females? Only about 71%. That's a huge difference. So yeah, this massive difference is one of the core findings. The males are just way more resilient to this particular insecticide. And that, of course, raises the obvious question, what's giving them this edge? Exactly. That was the next big puzzle for the researchers to solve. Why are the males so much tougher? And it looks like the answer lies in a very specific gene. The study pinpointed a particular enzyme called S2 that's found only in the reproductive tissues of the male flies. This male-only enzyme might just be the secret to their super-powered defense. But the plot thickens even more. It turns out the fly's resistance isn't just about its sex, it's also about where it lives. So to figure this out, scientists went out and collected flies from 3 really different places in Brazil: Aracaju, Uberaba, and Florianópolis. And what they found was that a fly's toughness really depends on its zip code. The ability to survive the insecticide was completely different from one city to the next. This chart really lays it out for us. You can see that flies from Uberaba, that's an area with a ton of agriculture and insecticide use, and Florianópolis, a big urban center, were way more resistant. But the flies from Aracaju, which is less urbanized, they had much lower resistance. So the big takeaway here is that our own activity is directly shaping this pest's evolution. Even things like latitude and temperature play a role, influencing which defensive genes, like a version called S2F, show up more in warmer areas. I mean, we are literally watching evolution happen in real time. Okay, so what does all this amazing genetic detective work actually mean for us in the real world? Well, it points us toward a much much smarter way to fight back. This quote from the study really nails it. Knowing that males and females respond differently and that resistance changes from place to place, that opens the door for targeted, intelligent pest control. It's a world away from just blasting entire fields with the same old chemicals. And that's why this research is so important. To win this evolutionary arms race, we can't just use bigger weapons. We have to understand the enemy's genetic playbook. This really is the front line in the battle to protect our food. And that leaves us with one final big thought. We've just seen how incredibly fast this one tiny fly can adapt to the pressure we put on it. It kind of makes you wonder, right? What other huge evolutionary changes are happening all around us right now, completely unnoticed?